In a great town of Laafia, where the sun always seems to shine a little brighter and the trees whisper secrets to those who will listen, life moved at a gentle rhythmic pace. The townspeople, known for their kindness and vibrant community spirits, went about their daily routines with a smile on their faces and a song in their hearts. There was a king named Adepoju, the great ruler of the prosperous Kingdom of Laafia. He was a man of great wealth, power, and influence. His kingdom was known for its abundance of resources, stunning architecture, and vibrant culture. The people of Laafia adored their king, and he was loved and respected by all. King Adepoju was born into a royal family and was destined to rule from a young age. He was grown to be a wise and just king, and he lived up to those expectations. He was a fair ruler, always putting the needs of his people above his own. He was known for his generosity and kindness, and the people of Laafia lived in peace and harmony under his reign. The Kingdom of Laafia was thriving under King Adepoju's rule. The economy was flourishing and the people were content. The kingdom was loved not only by his people but also by neighboring kingdoms. They admired his wisdom and sought his counsel on matters of state. King Adepoju was a respected figure in the region, and his kingdom was a beacon of prosperity and stability. However, tragedy struck when a deadly plague swept through the kingdom. The people of Laafia were struck down by disease, and no one was spared, not even the king's family. Adepoju's beloved wife and children fell ill, and despite his best efforts, he could not save them. The king was devastated by the loss of his family, and his grief was overwhelming. He withdrew into himself and became a recluse, barely leaving the palace walls. As the plague continued to ravage the kingdom, Adepoju's once prosperous and bustling kingdom turned into a desolate and somber place. The streets were empty, and the once cheerful people were now filled with fear and despair. The king's courtiers tried to console him and urge him to take action to save his people. But Adepoju was consumed by his grief and refused to listen. The neighboring kingdoms, who once looked to Laafia for guardians, now saw it as a weak and vulnerable kingdom. They took advantage of the situation and launched attacks, hoping to claim a piece of the once great kingdom for themselves. King Adepoju, lost in his sorrow, did not have the strength or will to defend his kingdom. The once mighty walls of the Laafia fell, and the kingdom was left in ruins. The people of Laafia, who had once adored their king, now turned against him. They blamed him for their misfortunes and saw him as a weak and ineffective ruler. They revolted against him, and Adepoju, who was once the most powerful man in the kingdom, was now a broken and defeated king. In the midst of all the chaos and destruction, Adepoju realized the gravity of his actions. He had let his grief consume him, and in doing so, he had failed his people. He had failed to protect them and guide them through the crisis. He had failed to be a king that they needed, and now he had nothing left. As the kingdom of Laafia crumbled around him, Adepoju sat on his throne alone and broken. He had lost everything that was dear to him, and now he had lost his kingdom as well. He realized that the tragedy had not only brought ruin to himself, but also to his people. As the days grew darker, King Adepoju spent his remaining years in solitude, wandering the empty walls of his crumbling palace. Each step echoed with the ghostly laughter of a time when the kingdom thrived, a stark reminder of the joy he had failed to protect. he frequently visited the graves of fallen soldiers, weeping for their sacrifice and his inability to save them. In the end, King Adepoju died a broken man. The people of Laafia mourned not only their king, but the vibrant life that had once defined their homeland. They remembered King Adepoju's grand visions and the days of prosperity with bittersweet nostalgia, now overshadowed by the tragic end. As they rebuilt their lives among the ruins, the story of King Adepoju served as a solemn lesson in the consequences of unfulfilled promises and the heavy burden of leadership. King Adepoju's legacy, once a beacon of hope and greatness, was now a tale of sorrow and ruin, a reminder that even the most illustrious reign can fall into despair. The mournful cries of the people echoed through the land, a testament to a king who had dreamed greatly, but ultimately could not withstand the ties of fate. The legend of King Adepoju the Great lived on, but it had transformed from a story of wisdom and justice to a cautionary tale of how grief and despair can consume even the most powerful and noble of men. His tragic end became a poignant reminder to future rulers that their duty extended beyond their own desires, encompassing the well-being of their people. King Adepoju's legacy, once filled with tales of greatness, was now a somber lesson in the devastating impacts of unchecked sorrow. His story served as a warning that the burdens of leadership require not only strength and vision, but also resilience and compassion. Future generations looked at his tale as a guiding light, understanding that true greatness is measured not just by personal achievements, but by the enduring prosperity and happiness of their kingdom.